Hello everybody, this is Stephen Haas for National Paralegal College and to the YouTube community in general. What I am doing now, pursuant to popular request, in other words the request of one individual, I am doing a follow-up of my electoral college analysis that I did back in June. I did a little breakdown, I put it in 7 parts. It's up on my YouTube page, which I'll link to in the sidebar as well, if you want to see that. And what I want to do is do a little follow-up. I discussed what I thought would be the keys to the election, where and which states the election would be decided, how the Electoral College works, the various regions of the country, and now I want to do a little follow-up to see how the races turned out and where I think it's going to head over the next 9 days until Election Day. Today, of course, is October 26th of the year 2008. This is the map that I started with last time. This, of course, is the map of the 2000 and 2004 presidential elections. The blue states were carried by both 2000 Democratic nominee Al Gore and 2004 Democratic nominee John Kerry. The red states were carried by George Bush both times, and the purple states were the only ones that flipped. New Mexico and Iowa flipped from Bush in 2000 to Kerry in 2004, and New Hampshire the opposite, from Gore in 2000 to Bush in 2004. And based on that, and my breakdown of the various regions throughout the country, this is the map that I ended up with in terms of where I thought the election would be decided. The red states I thought were pretty safe for McCain, the blue states pretty safe for Obama, the light blue states leaning McCain but maybe in play, the orange states, the opposite, the light blue states leaning Obama but maybe in play, the orange states likely McCain but maybe in play, and the purple states the real swing states. Now, probably a little silly for me to put Hawaii in light blue. I did that based on the 2004 and 2000 results, which had Hawaii quite close, but being that Obama was at least partially from Hawaii, there was never any doubt in terms of where that would go, so that should have been dark blue. That was a mistake. But in any case, the key swing states in the country: Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, Iowa, Missouri, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Florida, and New Hampshire. Those are the big states. Big 12 states, or whatever it is, upon which the election would be decided. And in fact, that's still basically the case. Those are, if one side wins the majority of those states, or wins all those states, that side is going to win the election. But since then, there have been all sorts of momentum shifts. I'm not going to discuss the reasons for it in too much detail. This is not really about politics. This is more just about an electoral college breakdown. Certainly in June, Obama was doing very well after he clinched the Democratic nomination. In July, and then into August, when McCain announced Sarah Palin as his running mate and had a strong convention, the momentum started to shift back. In fact, for a while, it looked like McCain was doing very well and had the upper hand. But since then, and mainly coinciding with the fallout from the breakdown of the financial sector between Bear Stearns and AIG, Lehman Brothers, bank closings, problems with Wachovia, problems in the economy in general, all of these things have certainly helped Barack Obama and hurt John McCain. Again, would the dramatic shift in the polls have happened anyway? Who knows? It's impossible to tell. But regardless, for a confluence of a whole variety of factors, momentum has shifted very, very strongly in favor of Barack Obama. And barring an extreme event in the next 9 days, a scandal, or who knows what could happen, obviously you never really know, but barring an extreme event, I think it's pretty clear that Barack Obama will win the election. But what I want to do is just, rehash the states in terms of what I predicted would happen and what has actually turned out. The 5 paths to victory, 2 for McCain and 3 for Obama, I think still apply. I mentioned last time that McCain's chance to win the election was basically to keep all of the Bush states, to keep all of the red states, maybe lose New Mexico and Iowa, which he was in trouble, which I thought he was in trouble then, even back in June. And basically that would still be enough to win the election. If he lost New Hampshire, Iowa, and New Mexico, but just kept all the red states from both Bush victories, that would have been enough. And the other I mentioned was to attack in the quote-unquote Rust Belt: Pennsylvania, Michigan, maybe Wisconsin, maybe even Minnesota. Now, those two are probably not. Really, the first strategy is the only one that's even still viable. The Rust Belt strategy for McCain has almost completely broken down. The only one that even is still remotely in play, I think, is Pennsylvania. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota have all tilted very extremely toward the Obama side. I think the only one that's really even a possibility of of flipping to McCain as Pennsylvania. And even in that, McCain really would have to, because of the fact that Iowa has swung heavily toward Obama, New Mexico has swung heavily toward Obama, he would really have to draw a straight flush and sweep all of the states in which he even has a fighting chance to win the election. The Obama strategy, which I mentioned, the three possibilities of his win, was either the Kerry strategy, win all the Kerry states and take Florida or take Ohio. I think both of those are very, very much in play, very much in, is a very strong possibility that Obama could win one or even both of them. The second possibility I said was going after the Southeast, Virginia, North Carolina, and Georgia. Obama certainly has a very strong chance in certainly Virginia, and to a lesser extent, but still a very strong chance in North Carolina. Georgia is a little bit less. Georgia would probably will still be McCain's state, but it is in play, as a matter of fact. The Southwest as well, the three big states in the Southwest, New Mexico, Nevada, Colorado, all of them polling heavily toward Obama right now. Nevada probably less so than Colorado and New Mexico, but Obama really, any of those three strategies would be enough to win him the election. Take a couple of Southeast states, including maybe Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, two out of those three, one out of those three even, the Colorado and New Mexico, or to win Ohio and keep the rest of the Kerry states. And not only do I think Obama has a good chance of doing at least one of those, I think he has a very good chance of doing all three of those, which obviously means that he wins, in a pretty decided fashion. Okay, so what I'm going to do in terms of where I think the race stands today, and again, this could change. It's unlikely, but it could change if stories, in general, the historical trend has been for races to tighten in the last week. So I'll keep that in mind when I make my analysis in terms of where the race stands now, that races do tend to tighten in the last week, as we saw happen in 2000 and again in 2004. Both of them, Bush had a a fairly decent lead going into the last couple of weeks, and they both tightened so that they were both toss-ups on Election Day. Now, over here, I have a map from Real Clear Politics, from their site, and I put in red everything that in my map had originally been red. I put in blue everything that had originally been blue in my map that I put in at the end of my last video. And I'm starting off in gray, in other words, in toss-up gray, everything that I had put either leaning or a toss-up. I'm going to go through one at a time and determine what I think each state, where each state falls right now. Okay, first of all, let's start with Hawaii. Hawaii, I probably never should have put as leaning Obama anyway. I should have put safe Obama initially. Again, I just did that because I was just looking at the raw data from 2000 and 2004. If I would have thought about it, people don't tend to think about Hawaii much. It's only 4 electoral college votes. It's off the mainland a little bit, so to speak, and so people don't really think about it. But that is solid Obama, not an issue. West Coast, Washington, definitely solid Obama. It would take an absolute miracle for McCain to compete in Washington now, no question. Oregon has a very big Senate race between Smith and I forget the Democrat who's running against him, but Gordon Smith may very well lose. In a different video, maybe I'll look at the possibility of the Democrats controlling 60 seats in the Senate, which would be a filibuster-proof majority. But in any case, that is a key race in the Senate, and he is the Democratic challenger to Gordon Smith, is hoping to ride the coattails of Barack Obama. Oregon is something that could have been a swing state. In many elections, it perhaps would be a swing state. In 2004 and 2000, it really was a swing state, even though Democrats won it both times. But in this election right now, based on the polling, it's clearly in Obama's column. Very, very little will change that. Okay, Nevada. Nevada is really one of the states among probably 10 or 12 swing states that have swung very heavily towards Obama in the last couple of weeks. Nevada, however, I think is still pretty much in the toss-up category. I think Obama, many of the polls I've seen recently, is up by 2 or 3 points. That could shift if things tighten up. Nevada, I think, still could probably go either way. If Obama wins in a landslide, he'll take Nevada. Otherwise, he might, it might go for McCain. Colorado, which I always thought was perhaps the single key state in the entire election, because I thought that Ohio and Florida would probably go for McCain, New Mexico and Iowa would go for Obama. That would leave the entire election to Colorado. I think right now that Obama will win Colorado. I'm not ready to say it's safe Obama yet, based on the fact that things could change, but I think that right now Colorado is definitely within the is is probably going to go for Obama. New Mexico, I think, is safe Obama. I'm going to change that to safe. If aside from the fact that Obama's winning